But yeah, how did you kind of reconcile that with the new
Well, I think,
direction?
for us, like, the real trick, and I say this to anyone that, like, has a project, like, start from a place of, like, theme and of strong relationships. So, like, no matter what you do to our show, as long as it's still about this little frog that becomes friends with this, like, kind of, like, mean girl from Earth, like, it's still the same show. So, like, these are some of the earliest development drawings where, like, Sprig is, like, bringing food to a monster that he finds in the woods, and it turns out to be Anne, and it's like, well, I could see that in the current version of the show. Like, that stuff didn't
This was
change.
a little bit more hardcore with the bones.
Yeah, there's bones and stuff, and the strong implication is, like, did she kill those things? Did she eat them? Like, I don't know. But, like, yeah, it was a little bit older feeling, too, at times, where it was like, oh, maybe she's a little bit more of a warrior, maybe he's a little bit more of a warrior. But the relationship is always stayed the same, and I think that's the most important thing. So it's like, they can take everything away from me, but they can't take this away,
Yes.
you know?
And I feel like as the show progressed, which you can show whatever, you were able to fold in the more kind of hardcore fantasy elements.
We were all doing this kind of 2010s era where it was like, we call it like Trojan horsing, like the cool story where it's like, it's a fun, like, little episodic show, and then, like, season 3 you're like, how do we get here, like, what's going on?
Yeah. Was it always the 2 11-minute segments, or did you ever plan on a kind of larger story?
Great question. It was always 11-minute, and honestly it was because of Steven Universe, because I watched Steven Universe and I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah,
like, 11 minutes
you can do that.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I knew too that, like, this show was going to start a little lower stakes so that maybe you could pack more in then, more characters, more. And with a 22-minute show, it's a little harder to have the whole episode about the little root beer guy, like in Adventure Time, you know what I mean? Like, but for a 22-minute, you're like, this is kind of testing my patience a little bit.
Yeah.
But for an 11-minute, you're kind of like, I'll take whatever.
Yeah.
Do the episode about the snails, you know what I mean? Like,
well, let's talk about the structure of the different seasons if you want to.
Yeah.
Bring it up. I know that season 1, you were thinking a lot about The Simpsons and how that community is so fully fleshed out.
But Disney was like, no. Like, we
There were,
want,
like,
like, a town and characters.
Right,
Like,
that's
funny
like research that proved that, right? Or something, wasn't
Oh,
there?
yeah, well, there was...
Oh, there were kids were like the familiarity of a...
Yeah. It was all about, like, halls and malls, man. They called it halls and malls, where it was like, kids need to see things that, like, they can ground themselves with. But it researched it, it's just,
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. Because it's like, it sounds really good one year, and then the next year it's like, kids hate halls and malls.